you got a quorum.
Got it. Okay, open the meeting. We have public. Anybody wanna start? Anybody, are you visited or you got
I'm
comment?
just here to know
Listen?
what's going on.
Linda?
I'm here as town clerk. Do you want me to go first?
Now, we can start with Eleanor, then you can go.
Okay.
Give you time to rest.
Okay, because I'm not gonna stay long, but I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, the board members in particular, and certainly Gavin and Tom for signing off on a grant that we did get. It was the first grant I've written, and we did get it, and I was super, super psyched and a little pleased with myself, I have to say. And so we applied for a grant to put in a new bathroom in the community center because we are maxed out. The summer programs for summer camp is maxed out in terms of the number of kids we can have, based on the number of bathrooms we have. And so Faith Cassidy came to me in the summer and was explaining this whole thing, and I just jumped on it right away, and I was like, well, let's turn that room into a bathroom. And she's like, okay, great. So did a lot of homework and whatever, and applied for the grant, and we got it just about a couple weeks ago now. And but it did involve you to say yes, and it did involve signatures and whatever. So I just wanted to say super thank you and just kind of give you an update on what's going on over there. And we've got all kinds of irons in the fire for more things. So it's coming together. It's quite a special place, and there's really, really, really good people over there. And Tuesdays are by far incredible with the community lunches and Sunny the chef, and just a tremendous amount going on with Food Shelf, and it's a very, very vibrant place. So yeah, it's a lot of people make it happen over there, and it's amazing, totally amazing. So anyway, I just wanted to say thank you and leave these, and if somebody can share some with Gavin, you kind of live next door, you can throw them out the window as you go by or something. And
Now you do, now you know, absolutely, you miss them. That's it.
Yeah, that's right. You miss.
there's a lot of, yes.
That's so
Yeah.
sweet. Thank
Yes,
you.
well, you're welcome, and there are nuts and coconuts, so I hope that's okay, but anyway.
I hope you all will have some too.
Yes, there's plenty, and I'm sorry, I do have to take the plate.
Surely not.
Yes, but I
It's
can
okay,
do
we
that.
can make that happen. It's fine.
Mostly just so that you don't have to worry about getting it back to me. So,
Oh, that's
there you
good,
go.
yeah.
Yeah, very easy.
Well, we can't have that from, well, we'll
There
just
you
put
are.
them right there.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the report.
Thank you.
Stop.
You started construction, you're in the midst of,
Yes, it did have to be shovel ready, it was one of the requirements.
great.
And so we're just now waiting for the final paperwork to come in from them, obviously a check. And, but I did tell Gauges Plumbing? Gauges. They're the ones that are gonna do the work, so I've let them know that we did receive the grant, and so they're on it. And Tony Goodwar is gonna do some work too, and so he's aware of it. And yeah, so
great,
we'll be on it pretty quick.
cool.
And I'll invite you over so you can all go to the bathroom if you like.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, see you, good night.
Take the brownies instead.
So, quote for town report, if we go with a 3-year contract for 24, 25, and 26, it would be for $1,915, which is only $116 more than what we paid for this year's.
3-year contract for what, Linda? What do we,
Town reports
oh,
printed.
the town report, okay.
That's 650 copies, and so with the pages that we've been doing them, obviously if the audit goes in, it's gonna be different. We haven't put the audit in a few years.
And the audit is getting bigger every year.
Same place.
Yeah,
So you need a motion for that, or?
well, I just figured I would go through you guys to
So you said 19, what was it?
1915 for 20, 24, 25, and 26. Yeah.
That seems like a good,
Reasonable price?
reasonable price, yeah.
Okay, so I'll sign that and send it back.
Motion for that?
Do we need it?
Well,
I'll make a motion.
Sure. Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily, unless there's something I'm not aware of, that we'd have to print an entire audit in the future. I mean, we could have a summary page in the report and say, you know, upon request online or, you
Yeah,
know.
Most people don't understand the audit anyway.
Right. Well, it's not light reading.
No, it's not.
I was reading it tonight before. I
Then
came
my,
out.
my other thing is, I know you're discussing health insurance, and I just think
You
with,
wanna pay all yours?
I would like to keep the plan we have, considering I have a number of pre-existing conditions, and I know there's other people as well that do, and it just seems pretty scary to go with something different that doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have the best reputation. And plus, somebody made the promise they're gonna fix healthcare, so maybe in another year, it won't be so bad. And,
You're funny.
well, I heard it.
You're funny.
So anyway, that's my 2 cents about the insurance. I think that employees here are very fiscally responsible, not overspending. We're, you know, think we really need something before we get it, and I think that, you know, we don't ask a lot personally, but I think, I know there's some that aren't happy that there could be a change, and they're not saying anything, so I'm sort of here
Yeah.
as the mouthpiece.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that it stays the same, and we don't have to worry about that for at least another year.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I didn't know Mo wasn't gonna be here. I have roads that I can give an update on.
How about, would
But we could also go into, I don't know if you wanna do an executive session on employment next, or if we should discuss just interest, for the grant writer.
I don't think we need to go into executive
Okay.
session. I mean, highly qualified, I mean, I'd like to have Alec to introduce himself and,
Come on
is
up.
that all right, Tom?
Yeah,
Make 'em up.
we'll make you
Yeah.
sit in front of brownies and see how long.
Oh,
Take a brownie, take a brownie,
It's
take a brownie.
It's a trap, it's a trap.
if I go home with my son with chocolate on my lips, you might look at
You'll
me.
know.
Yeah. Well, hi, everybody. I'm Alex. I am owner and I'm a grant writer. My company is Forward Written Grant Services and Consulting. I mostly do grant writing on a freelance basis as a contractor for nonprofits, municipal organizations. I've even done some agricultural grants. I have a background, I'm sure you've seen the resume, of about 15 years in the nonprofit world doing grant work. My goal when I started Forward Written was to help make grant writing and grant funding more accessible to small groups, grassroots organizations, communities, all of those things. So that I've heard as I've gone around that, oh man, we've heard about that grant opportunity, but we don't know where to start, right? And so my thought was, I have all this experience doing that. I want to bring that to the communities and the projects and the nonprofits that I really care about. And so I got connected with Kathy via a mutual friend, Brenda Churchill in Bakersfield, and she started telling me that you had some grant writing needs. So I thought I would come and kind of discuss that with you, see what your needs are, and see if we might be able to contract and work together. So does that help? Okay, answer any of your questions.
And just as a little background, the grant writer position has been vacant this year. Previously, up until last year, we had somebody. We had somebody for a very short time last year, and then lost him. So in previous years before I was here, I understand we had a grant writing committee. We had active grant writing happening, and it has gone by the wayside at this point, the extra grant writing. So there are some grants coming up, and with his qualifications, I thought it would be worth bringing him into the meeting, to see what you think about filling that position.
What's your pay schedule?
Well, as far as invoicing goes, I can work with you on whatever schedule works for you, but I work on an hourly basis. And right now I'm booked through the first of the year, but I should have some client openings, and my hourly rate's $80 an hour.
80?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And you say you're booked through the end of the year,
Right.
just kinda, do you have time to commit to? Here,
The
or
idea
is
would
it-
be that, yes, in 2025, that I would have time, but I would want to talk a little bit about volume, like how many grants, like, are you, looking to submit in the current year? What are the town entities? I know that there's not just one entity, right? There's the community center, there's the library, there's the fire department, roads department, those are wide varieties of subjects too.
Yeah.
And so, it could get to a lot very quickly. So, with me also supporting other organizations, I want to make sure that if we got to an agreement, I would be able to fulfill on anything that you wanted to accomplish, right?
Right.
So that's why I kind of wanted to come and have this conversation more to explore.
Yeah, I'm intrigued that you have this expertise and this obvious passion for kind of helping towns and nonprofits pursue possible grants. I'll just be upfront, there's one board member who's not here, we're very cautious about pursuing grants that would increase the town's baseline. So there would be, like, even though we're, a small town, we have we wouldn't wanna, we'd wanna be focused and disciplined and aggressive to pursue possible grants with the filter that we're not gonna,
Right, we wanna select grants that complement the projects we're working on that we already need. Just because it's a 60% cost share, doesn't make it a good deal or a project that we should pursue.
Right.
Yeah, and I wanted to be upfront with that, to say, and the last adjective I used was aggressive, because, if there's some money that's available that, we could qualify for, that's consistent with what we just described.
Yeah.
And it's just evident by, our community center. It's gonna be a helpful grant, it's gonna make,
Absolutely. Yeah.
and it's gonna help, young people, and so that would be a great example of, if there's, and we do have some huge projects that were, the community, right across the street, common school. So, subject to, your availability and our interest in next year, we could brainstorm and say, hey, you, especially if you're in the field, and say, hey, these are things that I know about,
Right.
and Kathy knows about, and we have a discussion at the beginning of the year, say, let's target 1, 2, 3 years, something. I mean,
So I have similar conversations because I'm working with the town of Bakersfield where I live.
yeah,
Right next door, and I find that working with different clients, it's a little bit different model, right? Like I try to be a little bit flexible to your needs. Some organizations really want me to, go out, find all the grant opportunities that could apply to them, spend time on that stuff, do the writing, basically the whole thing. Other organizations, have engaged me and it seems like you guys might be in this case where you're aware of some of the funding opportunities that could benefit the projects that you want, but you might need a little capacity just to get the applications done.
yeah, I think that's the latter. I think
Get it
Right.
wording right.
Yeah.
and and if there's an occasional, synergy between, from your other, awareness of other grants, but I think Kathy has talked about grants that, we haven't had the capacity that would help us with our roads or bridges or, community school, common school, and I think that's where we're in the latter category. As opposed to you going prospecting.
Right.
Or unless there's a subcommittee of the select board that, brings it to us, but I think we'd kinda like to be part of the conversation.
Yeah.
I think this model is different. I mean, historically, we've had a grant writer who's, doing a favor versus a full-blown business model. Or we could get together, if you came in quarterly or whatever and said, hey, these are the 6 grants that are coming up. We say, hey, this is one we found we'd like to pursue. And we could kind of drive the conversation, and it would help complement or help your planning. In the next 6 months, we'd like to look at these 2 grants.
Yep.
So you can budget time better, or,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, this is a good start. we could talk about it at our budget and then meet with him again after our budget meeting.
Yeah.
Sure.
And he'll know more about what his flexibility is.
Sure,
In
yeah.
the year, you know. We have a budget meeting probably next month. There are a couple of them.
Yeah. Good luck with that. I know that's a tough process.
We do well.
Yeah.
We have a sharp knife.
They have sharp brains.
Yeah.
It's pretty smart. Cookies and
Do you, in your history of, and I apologize, I've looked this over, but I haven't,
Yeah.
delved into it. Have you done, I mean, a grant is a grant, more or less, but have you worked in municipal grants and roads and
So
are you familiar with that?
Bakersfield's really my first venture into municipal writing. I agree, I think writing's pretty transferable and so far I have done some V-Trans grants and state grants that are municipal focused. We just did the bicycle and pedestrian grant through V-Trans. And if you've been through Bakersfield, there's a crosswalk that goes between the library and the school. We actually got the grant to put up flashing beacons to help pedestrian safety there, which is awesome. And then just recently did the Municipal Energy Resilience Grant. I don't know if you guys took a look at that, but it's all about improving the energy systems, insulation of the municipal buildings in town. So we just applied for that. I don't know if we got it yet, but so they're really my first, dancing with municipal organizations. But I find that the applications have been fairly similar to, writing
And
a
I guess maybe it's more, if we do this, we're gonna need you to work with the town crew and Kathy and us and whatnot.
Yep.
Do you have any background in like construction or roads or just familiarity?
I mean, a little bit from talking to the road crew in Bakersfield, right? I'm still learning. I feel like my line here is, if you can teach me the content, I can write about it.
Yeah, no, I can see that, I can see that.
The same thing goes, I wrote a maple sugaring grant for the first time like a couple months ago, and I was like, I know nothing about making maple syrup, but I live in Vermont now, so apparently I should
Probably
learn
should
about
learn
that. And, so I had to learn that content and what an RO is and all that stuff, just try to learn the lingo and the language and go from there.
Tom, you know what an RO is?
But I know, one thing that we're thinking about is upgrading the lights at the town garage. So, I mean, if that's something, if you have to come through with something or you're in that vicinity, we'd like to upgrade all those lights to energy efficiency, to get maybe a little money from energy efficiency.
Yeah, it could be a subset of what you already did in Bakersfield.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if there's another round of those
Sure.
energy resilience grants. They required like an assessment, like somebody had to come and assess the buildings and make recommendations, and their recommendations were wild, but you had to use the report to write the grant. So, it's the same process. I'm sure you guys are pretty familiar with that stuff, so.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're gonna build our budget, have the discussion during the budget building process, and then I'll be in touch with you in the beginning of the year when I have some more
Sounds good.
information and answers, and
Yeah.
we can connect with the select board about next
Yep,
steps.
and you have my contact information if you have any questions or, want to chat about anything, feel free to reach out and just write it through. In fact, I'll be at the library with my son for story time tomorrow, so if you're around, stop in and say hi. What's that?
Did we just appoint you to the library board? No.
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
it's different.
No, I don't live in Fairfield, but I come to Fairfield quite often.
Okay.
Are you infiltrating?
Well, thanks for dropping,
Thanks for this library.
Yeah.
No, it's a great library.
It is a great library. I love Sarah and Wendy over there, and been to the community center a couple times for some events with our family, and it's pretty close. We're right near the center of Bakersfield, so
Yeah,
we go
good.
here often.
Great.
Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming in, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Really nice meeting you in
You too,
person.
yeah.
Have a
Do you
good
get
evening.
a brownie?
Yeah, Ron,
I'll take one for the road. Thanks.
And flour for the kids.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You too.
Is there somebody online that wants to talk?
No.
company. I'm gonna close it.
So I do have some roads information that we can talk about.
I'm gonna wait 8 more minutes.
So the roads reclassification process that we were talking about in the last meeting, Menard Road, the only changes, so it is, after extensive research, V-Trans did some research, I did some research, we have lots of maps that you can look at, and I brought the measurements. The only changes on record to Menard Road were when it went from 1.5 miles of class 3 to 1.86 miles in 1959. They added 0.36 miles at the north end, and then at the south end in 1969, 0.15 miles became class 4. So that equals the 0.59 class 4. So on the maps, all of the maps, including this one that I brought in, the state maps, we've had, and she, sent me measurements, and I did measurements wrong, and V-Trans corrected me, which is really wonderful. And then they sent just all kinds of historical records and maps, and we're at a point right now where, according to the maps and the things that I've looked at, it seems to me like we have a class 3 section that needs to either be upgraded in its condition or made class 4 road. And if
What distance?
What was that?
What is it?
Oh, the distance. Hold on for a second.
3/10, I think you said?
It's, let's see. Reclassify a section of road past the farm to bring it up, which we have mapped at around 0.5 miles.
So it's that part from the barn to the
Yeah,
camp,
it's,
Down
yeah,
there.
it's like the barn past the camp,
to the camp.
just a
or
little
whatever.
bit, a little bit.
Anything past the barn would be, well, I vote class 4.
Yeah, I agree, it's just a drill. Yeah.
So if we do that, what we need to do as a board is you need to decide, if we're gonna reclassify it, when we want to have the first step, which is the site visit. We have to have a meeting at the site, and it needs to be warned 30 days in advance. And that just starts a process. There's gonna be a hearing. It's sort of like,
A waste of
zoning.
tax
It's
money
very similar
and
to
time.
zoning. What was that?
A waste of tax dollars and time.
Well.
You gotta
yeah.
do what you gotta do, but that just, it's a.
Does the board have to be a site visit or
Yeah,
representative or?
it's a select board meeting at the site to
It'll be a
look at
short
the
meeting.
spot. Yeah, I know.
In
We'll
December.
look at the spot. I'll see if I can find a big orange blob, which is what, on the map, it's a orange blob. So we can either, with a 30-day notice, if we decide to do it this winter, it would be mid-December, or we can wait until spring and do it then. It should be done by June, the end of June.
Is there any way to bypass that?
Is there a way to bypass the process? It's not, it's a whole formal process. It's sort of like with zoning, when they're doing zoning hearings and site visits and in order to subdivide things and change things.
And AOT says we gotta have it done by June or something, like, for the
They
round or something?
pay us every year for this section of road. They've been
Right.
paying it. And they do the recalculation of the roads in the beginning of the year.
Okay, so just so I understand, so site visit is step 1, what's the next, and then like a public hearing?
There's a
or-
30-day notice of a site visit, so we
Okay.
have to post it, and then we have to notify adjacent landowners by mail.
Which we would do at the same time.
And then notify the planning commission if applicable. Then conduct the site visit and hold a public hearing, which can be at a select board meeting, just sort of like when we do our ordinances. And then provide V-Trans with documentation of all of that.
We could do it theoretically like the 1st of May, right? I mean,
We could, yeah, I mean, we don't have to.
we do it
right.
the second meeting of April,
We could do that, yeah.
after town meeting and. And if somebody stands up and says, I don't want this to, well, then the board would have to listen,
Right,
but they don't, we would have to give the opportunity. any abutter, we'd have to give them the opportunity, but they can't necessarily stop this.
Right, the goal is to hear the community and utilize what they're saying to inform the discussion that the select board has.
Well, I'd say second meeting in April, we have a site visit, and we ask you to do the other steps, you know, consistent with meeting that time frame, notifying the butters and public notice 30 days and.
So have the hearing on the second day of
No, I said a site visit,
the site visit, okay, thanks.
you know, like, I don't know, we do it.
Yeah, just work yourself backwards from there, do your warnings and everything.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my thought, I don't know, what do you think? I mean, Tom, you,
Sooner the better, I mean, maybe,
I'm kinda on Tom, I just didn't do it, get it over with, get it done. That way if somebody wants to build a house up there, we're not gonna be fighting them in the spring, but.
well, that's, yeah, if we can do it before, if we can get it in, you know, just,
We can wear our boots.
yeah, I'm open-minded about that.
I mean, all you gotta do is go there and you gotta go to the end of the road, just meet.
You know, stand there, call a meeting to order and turn around and get
All
back.
you
You
need
know,
is
we could do, when are we
three
gonna do
people.
our budget meeting in December, like a day meeting, maybe we should go up there first and then come down to our budget meeting. You know, be a daytime, we're gonna have to schedule that meeting.
Yeah.
Wanna do that?
I mean, it doesn't take only 3 people.
Yeah,
We-
let's
We
do
can do
it.
that, if the timing
mean,
is right. it's
everybody
gonna
knows it.
actually-
Where they're talking about, so you just gotta have 3 people there to say you
Yeah,
met there and
that's even better, good idea.
Yeah, okay. So, I believe December 16th is the soonest we could do it, which is around that week, which is around that exact same time,
Yeah.
so.
I would
Yeah, well-
schedule it and 3 guys that could come by, you guys, 3 guys are coming right by there, go up and
Yeah,
shake hands and take a picture and
there you go. Good idea.
Get a ribbon.
Otherwise, most gonna plow the road.
That's where we're done, but anyway.
Menard.
Oh, the Menard Road issue. Yeah, so Mosier, go for it. We're just talking roads.
He's drawing pictures.
Yeah. Do you have anything
Also,
exciting,
go over
Mo?
on the pictures.
No, not really. I didn't get no quotes on the furnace yet or the lights.
Oh, you're still gonna do that?
Yeah.
And, what about that pressure washer, the heat?
We got one, the order should be coming this week.
Okay.
Getting it down to,
Frank, whatever.
yeah, there we go.
Do you see any challenges for getting the quote for the furnace, or that's?
No.
we'll put that through JB or who?
No, Larry Wescombe got a quote from on that furnace.
Larry Weston?
Yeah.
So we have to get the ARPA spent or encumbered by December 31st this
Yeah.
year. So we're just gonna have to make sure
We'll
that.
know by then.
Yeah.
That's good.
And, Aaron Forbes and, Tim Kane on the lights over there. They said, Tim said there ain't no, money,
Efficiency, but not money.
Oh,
yeah, that's,
Yeah.
burned out or used up, I guess, or,
Yeah.
there are no programs there. I just got hold of, Aaron came Friday, so,
So when's the furnace quote coming, you think?
yeah, soon I just called Larry's fire meeting too, so. I
Yeah.
didn't know he had done or not, I just called up before I got here.
Yeah. He
did the calculations, like 387,000 BTU furnace. It's, I think they said in there now is 167 or 770 BTU.
Yeah.
It's better to get bigger than it is smaller.
Yeah,
It's not,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
everything else pretty quiet, Mo?
Yeah, just trying to get for when it sets in, get these little jobs done. Turnarounds fixed up a little better.
I noticed a bill from, Shelburne limestone.
Yeah,
Boy, that stuff sticks good.
yeah,
The stuff you put down, just,
the black stuff,
yeah,
right?
that black magic, really something, binds in.
Yeah, ties up good.
Mix that with gravel.
No, just put it,
Putting it on straight,
yeah, yeah.
fines, or what is it?
Then number two, you know, like the
With
white
dust.
stuff, but it's not black.
With dust.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of fines in it. That's what makes it. Yeah, it's. You can tell when you grade into, when you come onto it, it tightens up good. Yeah, even put some of that on. No gravel. Roads seem to be pretty well getting back up to par, I guess. After a dry spell last fall or
But
late part of summer. They're getting pretty rough washboard, but nothing you do.
Mo and I did talk a while back about writing a Better Roads grant for the Mackenzie Road culvert that keeps washing out. And that is due in December, so I'm working on that. We do have a hydraulic study already complete for that, so that's good. We're set up to get that in.
Yeah, and also we got the briefing from the Friends of Northern Lake Champlain with the big grant, which is,
Right.
you know, they've got it down by the pond and up on the Swanton end and some work on, I think it's Yates Camp Road.
Did you hear about when are they presenting to the Pond Association?
We haven't scheduled it,
Okay.
but
We can,
I asked them to reach out to you to get on our calendar, the select board calendar.
yeah, it might, I wonder if she could come to our next select board meeting.
Yeah, why not?
That's, they have nothing to, do like that culvert that keeps washing out, that's nothing they wanna try to help with. I mean, that must go down to the pond, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
I think we talked about this, I wanna say that we talked about this. We went on a visit to the beach with the person who, from, I can't remember, it was like a year and a half
Fitzgerald
ago.
Engineering.
Fitzgerald Engineering, and they showed us a place where that we could put a swale, like a swale and divert water. And I asked them about Mackenzie Road, and I'm pretty sure that she said that the proposal that they have for that area is in the land up from the culvert. It's not the culvert per se. So this is actually really good. It's a really good fit for the V-Trans grant that's coming up. But they have a lot of. My understanding is that a lot of the proposal is on private land. There's some places that they're talking about doing things, so it'll be.
Well,
done.
why don't we, it's Bridget, why don't we ask
Yeah.
her to the next
Yeah.
select board meeting?
I'll
and
do that.
We can always ask the question,
Okay.
if there's any additional fund to help with, you know, that culvert project, as an example.
Okay.
Well, she said, who's doing that grant for the V-Train?
Me too. I am.
You are?
Yeah, I've been doing all the V-Trans grants. But that's due in December, so he doesn't have availability. And I think Fitzgerald said, I mean, we can ask, but I think Fitzgerald said that they have, their words are basically available for us to use in grants, so it's pretty copy paste.
Copy and paste.
I just have a quick question. So I've been going to that TAC committee meeting, all those TAC meetings, ever since I volunteered for that a while ago. And I look for opportunities to do something, and it seems very cut and dry what things are already planned out. And whenever I'm saying, well, could we do this to bring this to fruition faster or anything like that, that I never get any response, but nope, it's all set in stone. So you're gonna have to tell me if you think that there's something more I can do at those meetings. I'm happy to go, nice people, I listen very carefully, I'll be.
Well, how do you get, how's there must be some way to get into the stone, you know, to get into the.
Yeah, it's really funny, like I've been trying to crack the code on it. It looks like a lot of things are planned way ahead of time, before I ever got there. And like the bridge down here, we're just in the lineup for that. There's nothing that can be done to hurry it up or anything else. At least that's what I get every time I ask. And if there's something you want me to specifically, really dive into, I'm happy to. So always just let me know.
I think you're doing that, attending the meeting and squeak, 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 I mean.
Yeah, I do every time.
Yeah.
Chuck even went with me one night.
I just keep asking him about the bridge, even though it's.
Cheshire Hathaway?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one. needs to
I
be-
really wish that, I'm coming from a different sector, so I have this interesting perspective on what works with grants and with funding for organizations and how things should go. And I have a hard time with the state of Vermont's appropriation to the towns, the way they appropriate money to the towns versus having the state, the trans conglomerate, be an entity that is inclusive of the towns. I mean, if anything, if there was ever a time that you notice in those meetings when there could be a systems change discussion,
Yeah.
that would be my request, just
Well,
having a
so-
discussion as a system.
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah.
we get our state rep and our couple senators, and we have an AOT representative, and we say, we have you here, and you
I
say
think it would be
you're
really
at,
worth it.
you're at these meetings, and we're not, we've got a bridge that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we should figure out, brainstorm a way
I
to,
haven't cracked the code on how the system works.
well,
But
then,
I'll dive in harder on that and I'll make that suggestion.
why don't we get,
So
James Gregoire involved, and Randy Brock, and,
I think that NRPC invites people once a year to
Yeah.
these meetings,
Yeah,
and we haven't been there for those meetings. So now that we have you there,
yeah.
we'll just
I'm happy
make
to go.
sure that they're,
Mhm.
you know.
I'm on the NRC board too, now. And, if you have anything that,
well, we could also ask our two representatives to Northwest Regional Planning, and we could say, have a December meeting and say, invite all the players and say, this is a bridge, what do we need to do? We have to have Mo go out and show that there's, spans that are corroding, or what?
Pictures. I wanna give you
Well,
a
you
little
have good
update on
pictures.
that, because I do,
You-
Yeah, no,
do
just
have
the
an
pictures
update.
that the state has are,
Yeah, there's updated pictures as well, which include the wear and tear from floods that have taken parts of even since then, have taken parts of the legs of the
Yeah.
bridge out.
and what about the
So
wear and tear
this-
from this bridge being out? That had to have.
Yeah,
sent-
I have,
Okay,
the pictures before and after that didn't show any change, but before pictures showed the fact that the floods have taken concrete out of the legs.
okay.
So, I did do that pre-application to the hazard mitigation grant, and they have extended the deadline for the full application to April. But I went to that conference last weekend, and one of the breakout sessions was with hazard mitigation. And, they said that the majority, they said that basically all of the first round of funding is gonna go to buyouts. It was like a 5-to-1 match for the amount of money that was available to the amount of applications that they got. So it's basically gone, but there is going to be another round. We're in the pre-application stage. They know about us, they've seen our work, they've seen what we need to do.
No.
And they've given us a list of things that we can do as next steps to prepare for the next round. And these include, a cost-benefit analysis with FEMA, and there's all of these different things. They also taught me about the supports that they have available. So even though we can't necessarily get the money right away, they've given us a kind of a bunch of stepping stones. And if we can have a grant writer helping with some of that work, that would be excellent. But that's where we are with that. It was discouraging in some ways to hear about their process, but for the most part, I felt optimistic that we at least have people, there are people out there who can be supportive at the state level. And they know me, and I make noise. Not bad noise, good noise.
I mean, that bridge may not have shown anything from the detour, but we know it didn't help it.
Mm.
So do you-
Down the road, it's
Disaster.
not gonna,
Yeah, well, that's great background. Do you think it's helpful to schedule a meeting that says, hey, you know, like, legislative priorities for the town of Fairfield and invite AOT and our, even if it's yeah, it's like this is it.
This is the downtime,
This is
so
our,
they would, yeah, this would be their time
Do you wanna-
when we're not,
do you wanna
yeah.
put together, and a couple of us could attend and,
Sure. What, are you thinking December, January?
I think December, before they go
Before they go
back to the legislature, yeah.
Yeah,
And they're
December.
busy and.
You know, and, you know, to get some attention to this, when I ride that bike path and I see this sign that says, future site of a covered bridge, and I'm thinking, are we gonna pay to bring let's say, okay, we don't want the covered bridge from this other location, we wanna fix a bridge that people are using every day.
Is there really a sign?
Oh yeah, there's a sign that says, this, they got this beautiful bridge right now, and the plan is, from what I read,
There's more than one.
yeah, there's more than one, that they're gonna, you know, when they
Take
got
out the bridge.
they're gonna take a covered bridge and they're gonna replace a bridge on the bike path with a covered bridge. And that's where I'd say, I tell you what,
This is what I'm talking about, it's crazy.
That's
They
crazy.
got-
That is the
they got
systems
4 or 5
change
bridges
I'm
we just
talking
did.
about.
yeah, well, let's put that on the agenda.
Trans can't be
Oh, yeah.
and look at the money they put in
Just funding
it,
the
2
things
or
they
3 floods, they didn't have any
Yeah.
money, but all of a sudden they put
I-
millions down in those
The
places.
rail trail's all back up and opening. I went to a guy's farm the other day. I had to drive through one hedgerow, a cornfield, into a guy's backyard because they haven't replaced their bridges yet. It's ridiculous.
It's crazy.
Glad you're not in Lindenville.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
so I'll get our.
Yeah, just try, yeah, and,
Come
and,
on.
People
yeah,
Six
in
bridges.
December.
Randy and Bob Norris are
Very good.
really
I didn't know
responsive,
they did that
Jim, or James is responsive, and before, you know, it's December meeting, and
Yeah, talk shop.
It can't possibly work for anyone, the system they have.
No, it doesn't make sense for
No,
them to be doing that and then having one little line of appropriations that we all have to
right.
scramble for grants to get. I mean, we're competing over money that should be going directly to specific things that are a priority. I mean, they really should be
Yeah.
not competition.
Our priority and their priorities not the same page.
Just,
well, even selection of this new bridge that we're gonna get, even that selection.
Yeah, the Parity Road.
Yeah.
Bridge is ridiculous waste of $750,000.
right,
10 cars a day.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think
so,
there's 10.
okay, December.
I think it was 6, that's what the study
Did you
was.
get my message? Did I give you
Six, I
the
think.
thing? Okay,
Who's up?
I don't know.
Anything more?
I just haven't.
Thanks for being,
No, I had nothing else,
we,
Tom.
Yeah, I can be way more squeaky.
Oh,
Way more
at some
squeaky.
I'd be really squeaky.
I don't have any.
anything else, Mo? You,
No, I don't know.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from, 10:23.
I'll second.
There's another set on the back of the agenda.
Okay. 10:23 first, then we'll do the second motion.
Is the second, any errors, commissions, or comments they wanna make on this?
Jeez, you gonna make it?
Choke on the brownies. All those in favor?
So-
I make a motion, we approve the minutes from, 28 October.
Yeah, he's still on.
I'll second.
As a sub.
Any comments or errors or omissions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, that's good to know.
Right, well, he can be taken off everything, right? He's done.
Yeah,
John Horgan is out of the,
Yeah.
out of the loop with this.
I just, if it's one less person on insurance or for
Yeah,
stop or
absolutely.
whatever, if
Yep, the numbers
not-
count.
we need to add him back, we can, but
No, it's better to be under the numbers for all kinds of reasons. If he's a part-time or half-time.
Are we in old business?
Um, I haven't given much of that was just my road report. I have other things that I wanted to give you an update on. So, and we do have, yeah, so.
Thanks, Morris.
CMO?
Thanks, Mom. Just really quickly, the US Federal Annual Survey of Local Government Finances is due. Again, it happens every year, as well as the workers' comp audit, just so you know where the time is going right now. And budget planning, we should come up with, I don't have my agenda in front of me. Is that part of the agenda, separate part of the agenda?
Oh, they're all taken away.
There you go.
Thank you.
There's the pile.
Okay, so the health insurance, old business, and then the budget planning is later. Okay, so, library, I mentioned this before, the library, let's see. I can't remember how I wanted to frame this, but the library is looking at increasing the librarian's salary to meet the requirements of the Department of Labor. In the beginning of the next year, they have requirements for salaried employees. So they've been having discussions on that, and they're moving into a decision-making time around that. But basically what it comes down to is she either needs to go hourly or they need to increase her pay. And there's really no in-between around it, according to the Department of Labor. And the debate, the discussion at those meetings has been about if this is a position that meets all the criteria of the salaried professional requirements, have to meet criteria, which it does, then according to the Department of Labor standards, then would it not, why would we go as a hourly employee? So
This is a library employee though.
yeah,
right?
this is a library employee, the librarian, not the librarian, but the library director. So it's a big jump to go to the salary that's required. I just also heard that perhaps it's null and void at this point because of the election. There's something about possible changes to this now that we have a new president. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a heads up that this is happening. They had a special meeting about it. They had a conversation at one of their regular meetings before. So,
Let them keep going, don't get dragged into it.
I'm just giving you an update.
Yeah, but just don't get too worried or
No,
dragged
I mean,
into
I'll
it.
let you guys worry if you need to, but I'm not worried. I just want you to know.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Just if anything comes up, if you hear anything. And then the only other thing was,
You say they're gonna spend what they wanna spend.
I was-
yeah, right. It's a them issue. That's the good news. Actually, we almost had the similar debate at this table, except that the person who possibly would have been qualifying for that jump in salary is an elected position. So there's actually a default, so we don't have to have that discussion. Yeah, so the only other things are on the agenda, so we can talk about those things. And I wasn't sure if you wanted to do the health insurance discussion in an executive session or not.
Well, why don't you lay out the discussion, and then maybe we could have a board discussion in executive session, but maybe you could
Okay,
just set the table.
okay, so I have pictures. I sent this to you, but I blew it up and made it bigger, so
And I say that just to inform any of our public that would like to know, what the status of healthcare.
yeah. So this is a chart that, would you like a copy?
That's okay.
This
I
is,
do have a quick comment on that, then I think I'm gonna go. What I've seen in the office and in the business world right now is that people are losing employees over benefits now more than ever. It's used to be all about salary, $1.50 an hour raise and this and that, but people, small business people, that they lose, good employees all the time over benefits. Now, that seems to be what people are counting on. So, just wanted to make that point, because we have kind of like a Nielsen rating system in the office, kind of get the feel for things.
So, in Fairfield, what I did is I gave you a list of all of the, actual plans of staff in Fairfield, what we currently have. We are allowing staff right now to, according to the select board at one point decided, we're doing standard plans through Blue Cross Blue Shield, which is one section of this massive chart. And we allow, the town of Fairfield allows employees to choose any of the standard plans up to the amount of the standard silver CDHB reflective employee and spouse level, which is the first line on this under the dark blue. The 2024 monthly rates monthly come to $7,641 per month right now. And the total for 2025 is $9,208.58. What I did though is I took out, if a person takes on a standard plan that does not include, that is higher than the amount that the town pays for, they pay out of pocket for that plan. So for the difference between that plan and the total amount. So I took out the librarian and I took out the amount that our employees are paying out of pocket. And what would happen to the general fund if you do that is we go to a 21.53% increase in healthcare starting January 1st if we stay with Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I talked to VLCT, got some information from them and did some number crunching and compared plans based on they actually equated the plan names for me so that I knew what we were looking at, because it's all, these charts are huge. And what it comes down to is MVP, the rate there, if we changed, would be a 4.63% increase. So what gives, that's the big question I think, is basically what it comes down to, if you save, you're gonna save through Blue Cross Blue Shield $10,902 a year. If you go to MVP. So you're gonna save that much money if you go to MVP. But
Are they apples to apples?
this is apples to apples in terms of the plan costs.
Yeah, but
No, what she's got there on that
What
line,
about-
right here, Ron,
Yeah,
that
that's-
line.
Yeah, I see that,
Okay.
yeah.
That's the plan costs.
Yeah, I
So that's
understand the plan cost.
apple to apples plan costs. What the difference is there are really three big differences. One is the way they charge you for their formula, they call it the formula, that they use for prescription drugs is different. The way they do, I was told that they can prevent you from continuing care they'll prevent you from continuing care if you've already had care unless you go through the beginning stages of diagnosis again. So you have to go through a whole process of proving that the care you're having is right. There's also more out-of-pocket costs in terms of deductibles and co-pays. So the way they do their deductibles is different. There's stacked deductibles, stacked deductibles and aggregate deductibles. And the way they stack their deductibles means that you have to use your health care in all the categories and pay out of pocket for all of the categories before they'll kick in. An aggregate is when you pay out of pocket for a specific category. And then you can, once you paid, like for my x-rays, all the way up to a certain level, then you can pay, then they'll pay for all the rest of the x-rays. But I don't have to pay all of my prescription and my mammograms before I can get an x-rays in order to do that. So it's just a different process.
They're not apple to apple, then
No,
they're different.
The plans
The
are apples to
plan,
apples,
quote
but the
unquote, but the
actual
service provided by said
the
plan is
services
not the same.
are totally,
So you
not
save,
totally
save your
different.
10 grand by individual.
by individuals
Right,
paying more, basically.
Linda, you've been in that healthcare for a long time. What's your opinion?
It's a nightmare. I mean, like, we would not believe how much small businesses like ours have to pay, and we can't compete with the state now. So our employees, like I said, will move for benefits if the pay is the same, and the state can pay whatever.
Yeah.
The state facilities like the notch and stuff can pay whatever. And so you lose good employees to that exact cost shift.
Yeah.
So I think you just gotta think about it really carefully. Are your people that easily replaced is the problem?
Yeah.
Right? That's what we suffer with. We can't replace the people once they
Yeah.
leave.
Well, it'd be different if it was apples to apples. Technically,
Right,
the
it's-
plan is, but the benefits and
Yeah,
all
that's
that.
right, that's what I mean,
it's
it's not apples to apples really.
The employees are pretty sharp on that too. They're gonna see that difference right away.
Well, thank you for all that information. I wonder, when you're, just to
When do we
push,
have to- oops, sorry, keep going.
I was just gonna push back on may and interrupt treatments. Where did you get that? Where did you,
That's specifically from VLCT. They had 3 point, I gave it to you at the last meeting, actually. I gave a little more expansiveness, but, they said that there is a tendency for them to require that you prove, that's what it means by interrupting treatments, like they require that you prove that the treatment that you're having, they wanna know that
so.
that
V-
somebody else didn't
So,
approve.
so VSLT put that in their literature comparing the, I
That
missed
was, that was the VLCT response that I got, yeah. There was the prescription, the interrupted care, and the.
So you asked them for analysis
I did,
for both plans?
yeah, what's the difference? And they also said that VLCT was on Blue Cross Blue Shield, they moved to MVP, and then they moved back. And that there are a lot of municipalities that are doing that, actually. And they told me that these are the two
So we're not gonna take action, this is kinda like a budget decision input for,
It is, however, so if there are changes, the ideal change timeframe is December.
for
so
an
that you-
enrollment
For
period.
enrollment.
Right.
And then, also the town, in our employee manual, it says that employees must be provided at least 1 month advance notice of any changes in health benefits.
So I would like to propose that we table this discussion, we go on to the budget planning schedule, and then we go into executive session to discuss this, so we can not interrupt our, So we go on to the next agenda item, and then we go into executive session to have a conversation about the implications of this. If you think that's reasonable.
Second. The next one would be the.
See ya.
Thank you.
Let me know if I can do anything.
I'm gonna go grab my pretty little calendar, cause it has writing on it.
I'm sorry, I'll be right back.
You guys want some of these? We'll toss them down here. If
Sure.
we don't, we can't pass them.
Man, she brought a lot of those things.
Yeah.
Have a couple of.
Yeah, take a couple, take a couple.
So the two things we want to do here is, one is to come up with a schedule for budget planning, and then two, I'd like you to tell me the information you would like me to research in preparation for the budgets, let's get the budget planning. For example, we've talked about the possibility of a facilities manager, so I was planning on bringing that information, zoning, not zoning, sorry. The animal control, we were talking about that, so I was gonna bring information about that to the thing. I just wanna make sure that I have everything that you need in order to do the work that you need to do during those planning sessions, so.
I mean, we're gonna have more than one, we can do one, and then whatever we need, we can get to the second, whatever happens to come up.
I think you summarized it pretty well. I mean, I'd say the dog control officer is a higher priority than a facilities manager, knowing that, you know, that, yeah, that'd be a nice to have, but you know, we're probably not gonna do two things, but, yeah, I don't know, I mean, I think,
Yeah, gives it-
like you've done in the past, you know, preparing our, you know, like what our current budget is, and what our actuals are, and then we'll go from there, and I can't imagine that we would, you know, we take a look at a dog control officer, animal control officer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if there's anything that, you know, just big picture, broad strokes, like if there's anything that I don't wanna not have what you need in order to
Yeah,
make
no,
a decision,
but I'm-
so
I
if there's
don't-
anything else that has come up
You know,
in your mind. that
We have, like
brings
the
you-
grant writer, you know, we've
Grant
got some
writer,
budget,
yeah.
we've got some budget and that we haven't expended, that hopefully could be a carry, you know,
Mhm.
but I, right off the top of my head, I can't think of any.
No. I think
Then
just
it-
like last year, you did a good job, so.
All right,
Yeah,
So-
the one thing that I would say is, we haven't really executed the capital plan, so
That's
that would
true.
be a nice thing to, you know, consistent with your time and everything, but
Yeah.
that's something we're pretty close on, and we could maybe weave that
Yeah.
into our,
that
weave that into our budget planning for,
makes sense.
yeah.
That makes sense. So December, so just looking at the calendar, the first meeting of December is on the 9th. That's Monday the 9th. And then the next meeting in December is on the 23rd of December, which is the day before Christmas Eve, Monday. And then we usually have a meeting in between those two. So that might be the 18th. Now, I'm just gonna step back a minute. We also wanted to have a legislative discussion. And I don't know let's put that in there somehow as well, so that we can accommodate that, so.
Do we wanna have a meeting on December 23rd, the night before Christmas Eve? Do we,
That's kind of the first question.
I mean, state reps and all them, they should be able to come to our nightly meeting. Even Van they get paid for that.
yeah,
Why not for the 9th, so it's earlier?
sure,
So V-Trans on the 9th, I mean,
Yeah.
do you wanna do it earlier? Do you wanna have it like at 6?
No, I just mean on the 9th, I don't,
Okay.
the next 2 months, I'm gonna be hit and miss. Our kids are so crazy that.
yeah, and if they can't come in person, we'll zoom in, you know, we'll say, hey, Zoom, so, yeah, that shouldn't be a huge discussion, you know,
No.
but
Yeah,
we could, you know, get a little attention by saying we see these bike path covered bridges and we
feet to the
wanna,
fire.
we're worried about safety and, yeah.
I think
Well,
it's
just the
good
money
to-
they spent this summer on the rail trail. Yeah, I mean, I know they spent money on roads too, but
Yeah.
just, they just seem to come up with it for,
No, I think it's a good time between V-Trans and the representatives. I mean, they all just heard the same message.
Right.
Watch where you're spending, so let's get them in on the 9th. It doesn't need to be a 3-hour discussion. It's,
No,
Yeah, and maybe
So-
we do it like we've done in the past, the morning of the 18th, or, I mean, do we?
So do we wanna start at the Menard Room?
Sure,
At like,
yeah, Wednesday morning, is that good for, like, a budget meeting?
Works for me.
8 at Menard and 9 at
Wednesday?
the town.
The 18th?
8:30.
Sure.
Okay. And then what we did last year was, depending on how far we got and what we had left, last year we didn't have the meeting on that Monday. We posted, we had a tentative meeting on the 30th, or the following week. Instead of having our evening meeting on the 23rd, it would be the 30th. I don't know if you wanna do that. That might be,
That would actually work out better calendar-wise.
yeah.
Yeah, especially if you needed any signatures for any.
I won't come on the 30th, just FYI. It's my daughter's birthday.
Oh, that's nice. Okay.
I have to make lobster.
Wow,
I'm not coming because I'm going to her birthday. You have my lobster.
yeah, even if it's a signature meeting, you know,
Yeah.
for,
Okay.
or swing by and,
Okay, so we have the
Oh, gosh.
V-Trans legislator and beginnings of budgeting on the first December meeting, and then on the 9th, and then 8 o'clock we'll meet at Menard Road. I'll give you directions and I'll post that, and then we'll move up here for the rest of the meeting. And then the 30th, if we need to come, I'll post that and we'll do that. We'll decide that on the 18th.
So what time's the budget meeting start?
The budget part of the 18th is gonna start, how long does it take us to see a road?
well, how about 8:30 and 9 o'clock or something like that?
8:30 and 9, okay.
9 o'clock. You can get out. You'll be all right.
I might be late. Depends what the day is.
Okay, 8:30 in Menard and 9 o'clock at. Okay, sounds good. I'm gonna need a little, quick turnaround to get, no, that's fine, I'll come on. Never mind, forget it. I'll plan accordingly. We're good. Anything else in terms of budgets? Any worries or concerns? I was gonna bring just a status update for you at the next meeting. I have to clean it up. What happens is we deposit all of the tax money into the general fund budget line, and then we have to put it into I forget, another budget line, so that it's not actually our revenue, it goes to the schools, so there's a whole bunch of it that goes to the schools. So I have to clean that up before I bring it to you, otherwise the numbers are all wonky.
I should have asked them how the budgets come in, or how the taxes come in.
They're coming in strong. They are, I mean,
They're overdue now, right?
now
Yeah.
we're overdue, oh
Yeah.
yes, if you would like to stand guard at the door. People get really mad when they're overdue.
Imagine that.
I know. These are the days when Linda, man, she is so good at her job. She really does it. She really does an amazing job. She brings people right to the place of, this is what we have to do now.
When's our next meeting? Is it 25th?
Oh, when is our next meeting? Good question. Yeah. So at our next meeting, we'll bring the names of people who are coming up for zoning or expiring. That was on the calendar. We had decided that we were gonna bring that up before December so that we could appoint people in December. So that's the only thing I have on that.
What's the status of a zoning administrator that?
So I wanted to go into an executive session to discuss that, if that's
Okay.
possible.
So, I make a motion, we go into executive session.
You gotta do the warrants
Oh, I'm sorry.
Make a motion. to
before we,
approve
Yeah,
the
no,
before we
warrants.
go
absolutely,
out,
absolutely.
then we'll be done,
Absolutely.
so.
Dave, you wanna make it?
Yeah,
Somebody
make a motion
second?
to approve it.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Did you do both of those minutes?
Yes.
Okay, I'll make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel issue
And a legal issue.
and a legal issue.
technically you gotta go in and out
Right, for each one.
for each one.